I don't want to go first, you guys. Y'all go first.
Yeah, I mean, coming off last year, obviously losing Cat, how's the pitching staff look so far, and what's your confidence level in them right now?
Oh my gosh, I think like the pitching staff's looking really good so far. Like we've got like a bunch of youth, which a lot of people have been giving us some like negative news about that and their opinions. But we talk about keeping our tight circle and just within us to stay strong about how we feel one another and like the things that we're working on. And I love the two freshmen that we have. They've been both so mature so early on and just been really accepting to buying into Florida State and buying into our values. And like you can see it day to day when they show up in the circle, and we're constantly talking about like what can I do to be a better catcher for them, right? And then again, like what can they do to like also help that conversation happen. So I think we're going to be pretty good this year. I think definitely like it goes along with the inexperience. We're losing Kat, a veteran from last year, and then we're transitioning with who is our ace. Like it's not so much who is the ace as it is how is the pitching circle going to work together and keep each other strong. So I am really excited. I'm like 100% sure we will keep each other strong, right? Iron sharpens iron, so it'll be a good circle.
What kind of growth have you seen from McKenna from last year?
McKenna's definitely had some bumpy curves around, like we all have. Like you can ask me about my experience my first year here. Everyone goes like your freshman year is your worst because everything gets thrown at you. You're literally drinking from a fire hose and like all the information is just like all at once. So I definitely think McKenna's got still quite a bit to learn. Like I said, like we're a constant growing environment here. So I still reach out to girls that have played here and left just for like how to be a better leader. And like I think about Anna Shaw and I was the annoying freshman asking like 10,000 questions. What do I wear? When do I show up? Go check Fiverr. And but she was always there for me. And I think like just being able to like learn from those in my position and being able to start those conversations, like the growth environment here, it can't get much better. So McKenna's definitely going to be able to learn from not only herself, the people above her, but also people below her, because that's what we do here.
Is it weird for you to be that veteran now, that person who's kind of the guiding force?
Oh. Yes and no. I definitely have always wanted to be in a leadership position whenever I've played, regardless of volleyball, softball, whenever it was. From the time I was super young, I had always played like up on teams, so I was usually the youngest girl that acted the oldest out of the group. So I feel like in terms of that experience, I definitely have learned to just be a really good listener and trying to develop the conversation and what can I do to bring the best out of them, but them also understanding that they can be vulnerable and be vulnerable to me. So it goes back and forth as a two-way road. And I think, again, like the position here, yes, is different. This is a top D1 school, and I can't say how much I am grateful for this program and for Coach Ed being able to take me in. I was a little bit of the diamond in the rough, being the girl from the backyard of Tallahassee. So just trying to add all those experiences, and again, like understanding where the freshmen are now and where I was at in that position not too long ago. So again, I have plenty of phone numbers on speed dial. Kat, Kirsten Landers, Anna Shell9, Danny Morgan. Like, I mean, the list is extremely long for all conversations, any type of conversation, regardless if it's life, my future, or what can I do to be 1% better for Florida State softball. So
when you went to work this offseason to prepare for this year, what was it offensively and defensively behind the plate that you wanted to work on and improve upon?
So clearly, we all saw within my first year, I had a super big slump my freshman season. Came off pretty hot, had some home runs, had some like big numbers, and I couldn't deal with how success was coming to me, and I kept putting that pressure on myself. Come around my sophomore year last year, trying to stay a little bit more consistent. Consistency was like my word for the whole entire year, and I think now just coming from off of year 2 onto year 3, now I know what I need to do. So I took a lot from that second year, being able to plan out what is the cues, what do I need to do, like trying to have those conversations, and I kept it all to myself. So this year I've just been really like owning vulnerability, and not only to like the coaches but to the players, and letting them in and like knowing when I actually need to allow people in on my process, because again, iron sharpens iron. I think we're all like a big circle here, so as much as I can learn from myself, I can learn from them talking to me. But also, again, if I talk to them about my process, the more in tune I'm going to be with it. So it's like the whole teacher, like master, like the more you teach it, the more becoming a master of it. So I think like just falling in line with that for sure. And then defensively, like it's again, what can I provide to the pitchers? How can I be 1% better? So again, we have a lot of youth, a lot of inexperience on this field this year, as we've lost Josie and we've lost Kat in the mound, and those were two really big synergy people that we had for a couple years, right? And I think just I have found in my role, like how can I be the spark of connection and allow those conversations to flow. So I think that's been like my thing. I've been trying to work around being very ghost-like with what I do, but and just following the path. Like consistency is still a word, still something I'm like trying to live my life day by day. So I think coaches back there, but I have been trying to be like super consistent, and that's also me asking them like, what was today? Was today a 1 or 0 on your mark? So like I'm not just feeding myself like, oh, today was a good day if it wasn't a good day. So just being very real.
I was just going to say, I remember you said last season that consistency was something that you really wanted to work on. It was like one of your focuses. Do you feel like you've achieved that in the postseason over the fall and stuff?
During the postseason, 100% things started to click for me. I think just ownership of the person and player that I am a strong girl. I like to hit the balls pretty hard, but if I can't consistently hit balls hard, then we have to go to the step one. And it's like, how am I enabling myself to hit those balls hard? And we talk about all the data and the numbers and the accurate that we use here, and we use those analytics for the good. And for me, like I need to know, like, would I rather want a pop-up that's gonna be like 40 miles per hour, like up in like little right center, right? Or would I rather take a 75 mile per hour ground ball? I don't know about you personally, but me, I don't wanna be in the way of that ground ball. It's bad enough I'm a catcher and I decided to be a catcher and I love being a catcher, but all of those tied together, I think just owning like who I am has allowed consistency levels to kind of even out towards this fall. That's been one of the biggest things, is how often can we get myself to swing, because we know what happens when I can do damage. It happens. So I think just owning that piece, and my one word for this semester, this season, is swing. And yes, swing, okay, yeah, we get it. You go in the box and swing. But I think it's just more so of the ownership of like who I am and the intent that goes behind what I can do. So,
Michaela, you mentioned the first year, you just referenced it. And you said something that was interesting. I always thought that one of the biggest changes from high school and club and travel ball to college is the level of scouting. Like you guys get scouted at this level more than you ever have before. And I kind of thought they just found like some ways that they could pitch you and adjust it to you. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of the issue, but you don't think it was that?
I actually 100% think it was all me. Yes, 100% yes, you get scouted. People are going to come out with you with a plan, but now by year, this is my third year season playing. I keep thinking, I'm like, oh, this is my fourth year. Yes, it is my fourth year. I'm going on my fifth, hopefully. But I think just keeping the consistency piece of like the mental health and the social media and handling like what I'm allowing in, that's what they don't prepare you for. Is like everyone tells you like, oh, you're no longer the biggest fish in the pond anymore. You're now all a part of the best, which yes, you still might have issues with, right? But I think the acceptance of everyone else watching the game and admiring you, like you just don't like, again, like I will always say, yes, I'm a small town girl, but when small town girl gets pushed on the big stage and she shines, like where's the back coming from and how do I take that in? So I think that was something that I didn't really had good control in my first year of playing, and I let the expectations like slip a little bit higher, and something that was out of my control, and the more I was failing, the more I was letting it in, and it just kind of ate me up in life. I think one point it was like to the point I told TCAM, I was like, I didn't even know it was that bad when I heard a announcer say that I was like 0 for like 25 or something within my at-bats, and I was like, ooh, it was that bad? But yeah, I mean, it's definitely one thing to learn from, and I think like a little bit more consistency shown in my sophomore year, and now this is my junior season, so I'm just trying to stay, like understand, knowing my cues, and taking a little bit of what the reason the high of the World Series was for me, and just riding along with that.
Anything else?